Hey, you wild thing. Holy smokes. At the time of this recording, I am only like 4 days out from boarding the plane and traveling the world with my kids because we were world schooling them. And it's all relevant to this episode, but I'm a little bit on edge, not going to lie. How am I feeling? I don't know. A little bit scared, but I think that being scared also means that I care. But I mean, we're traveling the world with our kids and we're going through 4 seasons in the first 3 months. I don't even know how to pack. I don't know how to pack. So if you have any advice on this, please reach out to me on Instagram, Renee_Warren, and let me know. Today, we are talking about confidence. We are talking about the how to get confident, how to be confident, where it comes from, the myth that confidence is something you either have or you don't. But the reality is that it's not about feeling ready or waiting for the vibe. Confidence is built in the doing, through the action, through repetition, through small wins that compound over time. By the end of this episode, you'll have some practical tools to stop waiting until you feel confident and instead take steps that create that evidence as you go. See, we are sold on this idea that confidence is a vibe that you, quote, tap into. But the truth is, it's more like a muscle. It strengthens only when you actually use it. When I was launching my first PR agency back in 2012, when I was 8 months pregnant with my first son, I said to myself, you know what? I'll just do this once I feel ready. I'll do this after the baby is born, or I'll do this when I have my entire business plan created. Who does a business plan anymore? And I finally just decided that I've been working with this woman for quite some time. We were partnering on a lot of projects. It felt like the right time. It felt good to just dive in. So I asked her, hey, do you want to co-found this PR agency with me? And I knew we weren't ready. So when I asked her, she looked at me and she's like, but you're going to have a baby soon. And I said, yeah, I don't know. We can figure it out. And it was kind of like, that was my first big step into creating that confidence for myself, but understanding how I can contribute to this business, to this partnership. I already knew who we could hire. I already knew the clients that we could close deals with. I got more confident, not only after I made the decision to go for it, but that I took my first step. With the Pink Skirt Project event, it was the same thing. I had never hosted an event like that with over 300 people in one room. They say, those days, they say that you should start with a smaller event, especially your first one. And that 300 people, that's a lot. And that first big events like that, they usually go in the red. You don't make money. Or that they're big sales events. So what are you selling on the back end of each day? I said none of that. But I was so confident in what it is that I was going to do that I knew that I would just figure it out as I go. But here's the thing. Confidence is never the starting point. Think about like an Olympian when they show up to the starting line for we'll just say the swim, like the butterfly. I don't even know what the distance is. And they've never competed in the Olympics before. They don't have the data to know if they can win the Olympics, but they have enough to know that they are capable of doing the swim against that caliber of people. Their confidence isn't the prerequisite for them to show up at that starting line. It's the byproduct. It's the byproduct of the years of training, the discipline, the mental fortitude, the studying, the competing in competitions. The confidence comes after you continue stacking on that evidence. There's no such thing as waiting for the perfect moment or time, because that really, when you say, oh, not this season, maybe next, or not today, maybe tomorrow, that's really just procrastination. And procrastination is a byproduct of overthinking, of self-doubt, of rumination. It keeps you stuck and it keeps you in this really comfortable pocket. The best performers in the world, they never feel ready for the first time that they do something. The winners, they just go for it. They just full send, they do it anyway. They jump off the cliff, build their parachute on the way down. They say, I'll figure this out. I will figure this out, because what is the worst that can happen? So let me tell you a little bit about how confidence is built, because I did this for myself, especially in the last only year, where I really felt this like hockey stick growth of confidence. Here's the framework: is confidence equals action, evidence, and belief. Action, evidence, and belief. The action is taking that messy first step. Sometimes it's just committing to something and then sharing it with your neighbor, saying it out loud, writing it on a whiteboard, putting it on a sticky note, putting it on your phone. It's saying that you're going to do the thing. And it's taking that first step. The evidence is that seeing that you survived that first step, that you learned from it, or even succeeded from it. And the belief is that trusting yourself, that there's more, and that you can do it again and again. So again, confidence is built in action. I think about when I launched this show, we're now well over 400 podcasts or 400 episodes. We are 5 years plus in the making. I've been doing this every single week for 5 years, which is so crazy. I did not know how to do a podcast. I did not know the ins and outs. I did not know the level of dedication and commitment it would be to actually record over 400 episodes. And I still did it. And every single time I got better and better and more confident now that I can show up and just blab away on a solo episode with very few notes because I'm just reflecting on my stories and my experiences. But the confidence was that I've already put in the reps. If it wasn't for recording that first episode and then the second one and then the third one and then interviewing people, I would never have gotten this far. You see, confidence compounds. Every single rep counts. Every rep counts. The first time you hike a mountain, it sucks. If you go again next week, it's a little bit easier. And maybe not because you're physically stronger, but you're mentally stronger. You know what to expect. But you would never know that had you not climbed the mountain the first time. So here are some roadblocks to confidence that I often hear and see, especially in the women that I coach in the society or the women that I meet at our summit. Roadblock number one is like they want to go and launch this thing, maybe sign up for a competition, do some like hip hop dance classes and do an event. And they say, but what if I fail? So the what if I fail is like the common thing, which is probably the number one thing that people like stops them from actually growing their business. Reframe that. Reframe that to failure is still evidence that you tried, and that's where the data and growth come in. Failure means not to do that thing again that way. It's a gentle reminder. Maybe it's a costly mistake. Maybe it cost money or resources or time or friendships. Now you know what not to do next time. Roadblock number two that I often see is and hear is when women say, I'm just not naturally confident. I'm just not naturally good at this. I'm not naturally good at speaking on stage. The truth is, no one is. It's a skill. It's not a personality trait. Confidence is a skill, not a personality trait. When I got on the stage in my event, the Pink Skirt Project with over 300 women on stage, that morning when I showed up there early, I was like, it felt weird because I wasn't nervous. And then I get on stage and I start talking and I see 300 plus eyeballs looking at me. I was not afraid. I was in my element. This was my place to shine. Now, had you had Renee from 4 or 5 years ago be plopped on that stage, I would have been sweating and shaking and forgetting my words. Because I knew that in order to become more confident, it meant that I had to do the scary thing on a daily basis. And one thing for me that has allowed me to feel more confident in public speaking and teaching in master classes and getting on stage is recording solo episodes. It's going on live on Instagram. It's recording stories. It's having conversations. So it's the little tiny bits of evidence and action that built my confidence that allowed me to get to that point. The other roadblock that I often hear is women say, I don't want to look silly. I don't want to embarrass myself. Everyone starts somewhere, and people respect action over perfection. You know, when I went on the stage at the Pink Skirt Project and I had my first keynote, this is my first admission to this, I totally forgot that I had a 15-minute keynote to give between certain speakers. And I was busy in the back room, kind of like jostling my story together, putting things together. And I was going on stage and oh my gosh, I was scared. I was worried that I would embarrass myself, that I would stumble and fumble. But all I needed to do was just tell a story. And we all remember our lived experiences. So the reframe for me wasn't that, Renee, this is not going to be as good as the incredible Jen Gottlieb's keynote, but I'm not comparing. I'm going up there for me. And I knew that everyone starts somewhere and that people respected me showing up with full vulnerability over a perfect speech. So you want to know, what are some practical ways to get confident today? Pick one thing you've been waiting for to feel ready for, and take a micro step toward it today. What is it? Let me know. Instagram me, Renee_Warren, direct message me. Let me know. What is one thing you can do, like a little baby step? It could be something as silly as, I need to organize my pantry because it kills me every single time I go in there. I don't know. Then just do it. Stop thinking about it, because then you actually take that first step. It's like this release valve on the pressure cooker. It lets out some of the pressure because you're actually doing the thing. You're no longer talking about it. The second step is keep an evidence log, a confidence evidence log. These are like, it could be picture album on your phone. It could be in a journal that you're going to write down or save the small little wins that you have on a daily basis, the brave steps that you took to follow your dream, no matter how tiny it is. It could be finally getting to inbox zero. I don't know, that sounds stupid. It was just a random idea that came to my mind. It could be, following up for the third time on someone you really want to do business with, but you finally did it. And the next step is to build those reps through repetition, whether that's practicing your pitch, recording videos, sending DMs. See, the more you do it, the easier it feels. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And then it just becomes like an extension of you because you're always doing it. The best salespeople are the one that have the most sales calls. The best salespeople are the one that have the most no's, the most rejections. They also have the most wins. So here are some closing thoughts. Confidence isn't a vibe you wait around for. It's a skill that you build. People ask me, Renee, how did you get so confident? It's like I have this magic pill. No, sister. It's because I actually did the scary thing every single goddamn day. I record interviews with people who I admire, who actually kind of make me a little bit nervous. And the more that I can do those types of interviews with people that make me nervous, the easier it is for the next person that comes on that makes me nervous. You see, the women you admire, they didn't start confident. Jen Gottlieb, Lori Harder, the speakers from the Pink Skirt Project last year, they did not start confident, but they started anyway. They did something that made them uncomfortable, a little scary. They probably failed several times. I think Lori talks about how she went from her like light pink alcohol beverage to the Glossy, and how she lost potentially millions of dollars in investors' money. Like, talk about ultimate failure. But then she turned that around because she was so confident in the thing that she was building. Don't wait for the vibe of confidence. Don't wait for that shot, that dopamine hit of like, yes, I can do it. Do it anyways. Build it in the doing. Build it when you're tired. Build it when you're unhappy. Build it when you're frustrated and annoyed. I'm exhausted today because my son Noah is a little bit scared about this homeschooling thing and hasn't been sleeping well. And I think I slept for 4.5 hours last night. I'm still here. I'm still doing this. And yes, I created space in my life to go and actually have some rest. Like tonight, cleared my calendar, be with my family and rest. I'm still doing it. The confidence is built on looking in the mirror and saying, girl, you got this. We got this, and we're going to do this, and it's going to be awesome. I would love to know, what is one thing you'll stop waiting to feel ready for and actually just start doing today? If you want to get a little uncomfortable, come to the Pink Skirt Project event in Kelowna in July 2026. Go to thepinkskirtproject.com. And as always, hit me up on Instagram, Renee_Warren. Until next time, ladies, peace out.